All right, guys, I'm 2-0. My last couple of board member tier package bets on patreon.com/BrockPage. And the good news is I have another board member tier package bet going off here today. But before we go ahead and move on, just want to take a quick time out and welcome you to the video. My name is Brock Page and I do sports picks for free right here on YouTube. I also sell my personal bets on patreon.com/BrockPage. And I have memberships on that website starting at just $1.99. And just remember, guys, if you sign up for a package here today on my safe and secure website, you're going to get access to that membership every single day all the way through the end of June. I currently have over 650 members who are signed up and active on my website right now. And if you want to see my current sports betting record, you can do that for free right now by going to the home page. Now you may be wondering what the difference is between what I do here on YouTube and what I do on my website. Well, what I do here on YouTube is I'll handicap the entire slate of games in any given sport, side and total. And what I do on my website is I actually share with you which one of these free YouTube picks on my channel that I'm actually betting on personally. Now, if you're thinking about signing up for a membership here today, but you're a little bit concerned about using your credit card info to sign up for a package, well, the good news is, guys, I don't see any of your credit card information or any of your personal information for that matter. I utilize the Patreon platform, and that's a massive, soon-to-be publicly traded company who handles all of your personal information. All I do is create the content for them, and all I can see is your name and email address. As a matter of fact, I'll actually never be able to access any of your credit card or financial info. There's no ability or access for me to do that on that site. But anyway, guys, let's go ahead and dive into some free content. We're going to take a look at the Cardinals taking on the Cubs, 2:20 Eastern first pitch on Friday, June 3rd, 2022. Happy Friday to you. The weekend's finally here. The Cubs are minus $120, totals 8 runs. Marcus Stroman for Chicago. Miles Mikolas for St. Louis. Now, Mikolas is off to a real nice start this season. He's got 3 wins on the year along with a 2.67 ERA. The righty also has 47 strikeouts and a whip of just 1.05. And even if Mikolas struggles, this is a Cardinals lineup who can really pound the baseball. St. Louis is in the top 5 in the league in team batting average, and they're also amongst the best in the National League right now in scoring on average per game. Paul Goldschmidt is hitting .349 with 11 home runs and 44 RBI. Matter of fact, Goldie's in the top 3 in batting average, RBI, and OPS. Meanwhile, Nolan Arenado's second on the club in RBI with 36 of them. When it comes to the total, 6 out of St. Louis's last 10 ball games got over the number. Meanwhile, Chicago went 60% to the over in their last 10 themselves. I'm going to lean towards St. Louis plus $1 in the over 8. Next matchup, it is going to be NationalsReds, 640 East. Cincinnati's minus $1.25, totals 9.5. Mike Minor making his season debut for Cincinnati. Josiah Gray for Washington. Now, Gray's got a handful of wins on this season, but he's definitely made things interesting. He comes into today's ball game with a 5.08 ERA, along with a 1.36 WHIP. The Nats have also been pretty bad on the road this year. Out of their 26 road games, the Nats got the W only 9 times. They're taking on a Cincy team who got the W in 6 out of their last 8 themselves. And they averaged 7 runs a game in those victories. They're also doing a real nice job of scoring at the Great American Ballpark. These guys currently find themselves in the top 10 in the majors in home scoring. Kyle Farmer's leading the club in RBI with 28 of them. Meanwhile, Brandon Jury's right behind him with 26. When it comes to the number, this game's being featured as my Major League Baseball tier package bet on patreon.com/BrockPage. So if you want to see whether I'm pounding the over or the under in this one, There's only one way to find out, and that's to sign up for my Major League Baseball tier package bet on patreon.com/BrockPage. And guys, as an added bonus here, if you sign up for my Major League Baseball tier package bet, you're going to get access to all the cheaper memberships on my website absolutely free. They're going to be included with your purchase. But as far as making a free pick is concerned, I'm going to lean towards Cincinnati minus $1.25, getting the job done for some money line cash. Next matchup, Giants Marlins, 6:40 p.m. East. San Francisco's minus 150, totals 8 runs. Alex Cobb for the Giants, Eliezer Hernandez for Miami. And even though Hernandez has struggled, he comes into today's ball game with 40 strikeouts on the season. The Marlins have also won their last 2 straight at Lone Depot Park. They're taking on a Giants club on the other side of things, who's actually struggled scoring runs in recent meetings with Miami. The Giants are averaging only 3-point runs a game in their last 10 meetings with the Marlins. Now, San Francisco also lost 4 out of their last 7. And that includes losses to the likes of Philadelphia, Cincinnati, and this very Miami team. Now, pitching-wise, Alex Cobb has kind of been a bit of a shell of himself. He's currently got a 5.73 ERA and a 1.49 whip. When it comes to the scoring in this one, the Giants saw 4 out of their last 7 road games fall under the posted total. They also went 7-3 to the under in their last 10 meetings with Miami. So if you're into historical trends, you certainly want to think about that one there. I'm going to go ahead and lean toward Miami plus 1.5 and the under 8 runs. Next matchup, D-backs Pirates, 7:05 East. Now both teams are minus $1.10, pretty much a coin flip right now. Total 7.5. Merrill Kelly for Arizona. JT Brubaker for Pittsburgh. Now Brew's still looking for his first win of the season. The righty's 0-4 with a 4.15 ERA and a 1.38 whip. When it comes to the hitting in this one, the Buccos have one of the worst lineups in the game. They're in the bottom 5 in team batting average, bottom 3 in team scoring. They're taking on Merrill Kelly on the other side of things for the D-backs, who's actually shown some pretty good stuff this year. Kelly's got a 3.67 ERA along with 47 strikeouts. And even if Kelly blows chunks, this Arizona lineup does a nice job of getting on base in certain spots. Matter of fact, the D-backs are currently in the top 3 in the majors right now in walks per game at the dish. Now, total-wise, Arizona's averaged 6 runs a game in their last 10 meetings with Pittsburgh. They're also 14-8 to the over when they bat first. I'm going to go ahead and lean toward Arizona minus $1.10 and the over 7.5 runs. Next ball game I have for you, it is going to be Angels-Phillies, 7:05 East. Philadelphia is minus $1.20, totals 8.5. Zach Eflin for the Titans, Chase Silseth for Los Angeles. And after just 14 2/3 innings of work, Chase Silseth already has a win on the season, along with a respectable 3.07 ERA. And even though the Angels haven't gotten a W in over a week, their lineup still has the ability to explode on any given day. They still find themselves in the top 3 in home runs, top 5 in OPS. And of course, speaking of OPS, Mike Trout has an OPS of 1.009. He's actually 4th in the majors in that category. Now, Trout's also leading the organization in home runs with 13. Meanwhile, Shohei Ohtani's 2nd in the club in home runs with 11 of them. Now, the Angels are taking on a Phillies team who just fired Joe Girardi, and they have a struggling Zach Eflin on the mound. Zach's just 1-4 on the year, along with a 4.60 ERA. And even if Zach pulls things together, this Phillies lineup strikes out just way too much at the dish. They're nearly dead last in the bigs right now in home strikeouts per game. When it comes to the scoring, the Titans are 16-11 to the under at Citizens Bank Park. Meanwhile, the Angels on the other side, they went 60% to the under in their last 10 outings themselves. I'm going to lean toward the LA Angels plus $1 and the under 8.5. Next matchup I have for you, it is going to be Tigers-Yankees. That's going to be a 7:05 Eastern first pitch. New York's minus 360 in the Bronx, total 7.5. Garrett Cole for New York, Elvin Rodriguez for Detroit. And through just under a dozen innings of work, Elvin Rodriguez, hasn't been great. He's walked 5 batters already and has an ERA above 6.15. The Tigers have also been pretty bad on the road this year. Out of 22 away games, the Tigers got the W only 7 times. Now, this Detroit lineup is also scoring fewer runs per game than any other team in the majors. They're taking on Garrett Cole here today, who's actually amongst the best pitchers in the American League right now. He's 4-1 with a 3.12 ERA and a 1.04 WHIP. When it comes to striking batters out, Cole's got 72 strikeouts in just over 57 innings. But even if Cole ends up struggling here today, this Yankee lineup has done a real nice job hitting for power. These guys are actually leading the bigs right now in home runs as a team. And in addition to that, they've got Aaron Judge, who's leading the majors individually in home runs with 19 of them. Now, teammates Giancarlo Stanton, Anthony Rizzo, and Gleyber Torres, they all have double-digit home runs on the season themselves. So once again, this is a Yankee lineup who just hits for power. These guys can hit a home run at any given point in the game. Now, total-wise, oddly enough, the Yankees went 60% to the under in their last 10 outings. Meanwhile, 7 out of Detroit's last 10 fell under the total themselves. I'm going to lean toward the New York Yankees minus 1.5 and the under 7.5 runs in that tight window. Next matchup, Guardians, Orioles, 7:05 East. Cleveland's minus $1.50 on the road, totals 8 runs. Shane Bieber for the Guardians, Bruce Zimmerman for Baltimore. Now, Zims has a couple of wins on the year along with 41 strikeouts. The O's are also playing .500 baseball at Camden Yards. They cashed in on the run line in nearly 70% of their home games. Now, they're taking on a Cleveland squad who has a losing record on the road, and they're also having a tough time hitting for power. As a matter of fact, the Guardians are currently amongst the worst they're amongst the worst home run hitting teams in the American League right now. They also have Shane Bieber on the bump here today, who actually comes into today's ball game with a losing record. So although he has shown some fairly decent stuff, Biebs coming into today's ball game losing more games than he won. Now, when it comes to the total in this one, 7 out of these teams' last 10 meetings got over the posted number. So once again, if you're into historical trends, plenty of overs to go around. Meanwhile, Baltimore went 7-3 to the over in their last 10 themselves, 3-0 to the over in their last 3 at Camden Yards. I'm going to lean toward Baltimore plus 1.5 and the over 8 runs. Next ball game, it is going to be Twins Blue Jays, 7:07 Eastern first pitch. Toronto's minus 220, totals 9.5. Yusei Kikuchi for Toronto, Chichi Gonzalez for Minnesota. And even though Chichi's making his season debut here today, this is a Twins team who's got a winning record on the road. They actually rank in the top 10 in hits on average per contest. Luis Arias is actually batting .340 with 23 walks. And speaking of walks, this Twins lineup is amongst the best in the American League in offensive walks at the dish. They're taking on a Toronto club who's had a tough time cashing in on the run line despite their current winning streak. The Jays have covered in only 10 out of 25 ball games at Rogers Center. They've also had a tough time scoring runs in front of their home fans. Now, when it comes to the total in this one, this game's being featured as my extra daily bet on my website. And if you want to access today's extra daily bet, it's only going to cost you just $2.99. But as far as making a free pick is concerned, I'm going to lean toward Minnesota plus 1.5 getting the job done for some run line cash. Next game, White Sox, Rays, 7:10 p.m. East. Tampa Bay is the $2 favorite at home, total 7. Shane McClanahan for Tampa Bay, Vince Velasquez for Chicago. And the bad news is, guys, I can't give you a free pick on this ball game. But the good news is, this contest is being featured as my board member tier package bet on my website. And just remember, guys, board members get access to every single package, every single bet, every single day, all the way through the end of June. It's an all-inclusive membership. So if you want to see whether I'm betting on the money line, run line, or the total in this one, there's only one way to find out, and that's to sign up for my board member tier package bet on patreon.com/BrockPage, where I'm currently 2-0, my last 2 bets in that package. And with that, we're going to move on to our next ball game, and that's going to be the Mariners taking on the Rangers, 8:05 Eastern start time. Seattle's -1.25, totals 8. Logan Gilbert for the Mariners, Dane Dunning for Texas. And even though Dunning's had a couple of rocky outings, strikeouts are still up for the righty. Dane struck out 56 batters in just over 54 innings of work. And as a team, the Rangers actually got the W in 6 out of their last 9 ball games. And of course, they garnered themselves victories over the likes of the Rays, Athletics, and the Angels during that span. Now, Corey Seager's also hit 11 home runs along with 24 RBI. And speaking of runs batted in, Adolis Garcia is leading the organization in that category with 32. Now, Texas is taking on a Mariner club who's really struggling away from home. Seattle's gotten the W in just 10 out of 29 road games. And their pitching staff's having a tough time keeping the ball inside the park. Matter of fact, the Mariners are allowing more home runs per 9 than any other team in the majors. When it comes to the numbers, Seattle saw their last 4 straight road games all get over the posted total. Meanwhile, on the other side of things, Texas is 16-10 to the over at Globe Life Field. I'm going to lean toward the Rangers +105 and the over 8 runs. Next matchup, it is going to be Astros-Royals, 8:10 Eastern start time. Houston's -130 with the total at 9. Jose Urquidy for Houston, Brady Singer for Kansas City. And when it comes to the total in this one, the Royals saw 7 out of their last 10 ball games get over the posted number. Meanwhile, Houston saw overs recently with the likes of Oakland and Cleveland. When it comes to selecting a winner in this one, this game's being featured as my $1.99 daily best play on my website. But as far as making a free pick is concerned, I'm going to lean toward the over 9 runs in that ball game. Next contest, it is going to be Padres-Brewers, 8:10 p.m. East. Milwaukee's -$1.55, total 6.5. Corbin Burns for Milwaukee, Joe Musgrove for San Diego. Now, Musgrove's been outstanding for San Diego this season. He's a perfect 5-0 with a 1.86 ERA and a .98 WHIP. Joe's also been averaging a strikeout an inning. He's got 58 strikeouts in just 58 innings of work. And when it comes to offensive production in this one, the Pods are one of the better road scoring teams in the league right now. Manny Machado's hitting .346 with 8 home runs and 29 RBI. Meanwhile, Eric Hosmer's hitting .302 with 25 runs batted in himself. They're taking on a Brewers club who's had a tough time cashing in on the run line. They failed to cover in 6 out of their last 10. And they're also having a tough time getting hits at home. Now, when it comes to the total, 6 out of these teams' last 10 meetings fell under the posted number. Meanwhile, San Diego went 9-1 to the under in their last 10 outings this season themselves. I'm going to lean towards San Diego +1.5 and the under 6.5 runs. Next contest, it is going to be Braves-Rockies, 8:40 East. Atlanta's -175 on the road, totals 11.5. Max Fried for Atlanta, Chad Kuhl for Colorado. Now, Kuhl's having a pretty good year in Denver. He's 4-2 with a .356 ERA and 38 strikeouts. The Rockies are also leading the Bigs right now in home scoring. C.J. Cron's batting .303 with 14 home runs and 40 RBI. He's actually in the top 10 in the latter two categories I just mentioned. Meanwhile, Jose Iglesias is batting .325. They're taking on an Atlanta club who struggles to make contact with the baseball. As a matter of fact, the Braves are striking out more times per contest at the plate than any other team in the majors right now. Of course, no real surprise here. This Braves lineup is amongst the worst in the National League right now in road scoring. When it comes to the total, 6 out of Atlanta's last 10 outings got over the posted number. Meanwhile, Colorado's 7-3 to the over in their last 10 ball games themselves. I'm going to lean toward Colorado plus 1.5, keeping this one close. And the over, 11.5 runs. Next ball game, it is going to be Red Sox, A's, 9:40 East. Boston's minus 155, total 7. Nathan Eovaldi for Boston, James Kaprielian for Oakland. Now, Kaprielian's had a rough start to the season. He's still waiting on his first win of the year. He also has a .593 ERA. And meanwhile, as a team, the A's have lost 6 out of their last 7. And they're winning only 25% of their ball games at the Coliseum. They're taking on a Boston lineup on the other side of things who does a real nice job getting on base. These guys are currently in the top 3 in team batting average. They're led by J.D. Martinez, who's hitting .360, along with 23 RBI. Meanwhile, teammates Rafael Devers and Xander Bogaerts, well, they're both hitting well over .320 themselves. And even if the bats, kind of die down a little bit here this evening, the Bo Sox have Nathan Eovaldi on the bump here today. He's got himself a .377 ERA and a 1.12 whip. The righties also struck out 59 batters in just over 57 innings of work. And when it comes to the scoring in this one, Boston is 16-8 to the under away from home. Meanwhile, the A's are 16-12 to the under at the Coliseum. I'm going to lean toward Boston, minus 155. Under 7 runs. And with that, we're going to jump into our next and final matchup for the video. It is going to be Mets-Dodgers. That's going to be a 10:10 Eastern first pitch. The LA Dodgers are minus 150, totals 8. Tyler Anderson for Los Angeles, Chris Bassett for New York. Now Bassett's 4-2 with a .366 ERA and 60 strikeouts. The Mets have also won 6 out of their last 7, and they have one of the more dangerous lineups in the majors right now. Jeff McNeil's hitting .320 at the plate with 26 RBI. And speaking of runs batted in, Pete Alonso's second in the majors in that category with 47 RBI. He's also 5th in the league in homers with 13. Now they're taking on a Dodger club who lost 3 out of their last 4. And they failed to cash in on the run line 3 times during that span I just mentioned. Now, when it comes to the total in this one, 7 out of LA's last 10 meetings with the Mets fell under the number. LA also went 60% to the under in their last 10 outings this season as well. I'm going to lean toward the New York Mets plus 1.5. And the under 8 runs. And with that, guys, we're going to jump into our quick pick recap. Powered to you by my website at patreon.com/BrockPage, where I'm currently 2-0 my last 2 board member tier package bets. I like St. Louis plus $1 over 8 runs. Give me Cincinnati minus a buck and a quarter, getting the job done for some money line cash. I like Miami plus 1.5 under 8. Give me Arizona minus $1.10 over 7.5. LA Angels plus $1 under 8.5 runs. New York Yankees minus 1.5 under 7.5. Give me Baltimore plus 1.5 over 8 runs. I also like Minnesota plus 1.5, getting the job done for some run line cash. I also have no free pick for the White Sox-Rays game. Give me Texas plus 105 over 8 runs. I'm also leaning toward the over 9 runs in the Houston-Kansas City game. Give me San Diego plus 1.5 under 6.5. I also like Colorado plus 1.5 over 11.5 runs. Give me Boston minus 155 under 7. With my next and final free pick for the video, I'm going to lean toward the Mets plus 1.5 and the under 8 runs. And for that, guys, that's going to do it for me. Don't forget to check me out on patreon.com/BrockPage. But most importantly, guys, gotta thank you for joining me right here on YouTube. Really hope you enjoyed all this great free content, all this great free information. And with that said, guys, happy Friday to you. Best of luck to you. I look forward to seeing you later on today on my website at patreon.com/BrockPage.